This house right here behind me is what we would call a BC box. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys why this is the best investment in BC. Let's get into it. I'm that agent Kelly. I talk about Canadian real estate and my local market of Abbotsford and the Fraser Valley. And if you guys enjoy my content, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. And if you want to chat one-on-one, I got a link in my description. You can click that and book yourself into my calendar. So here in British Columbia, there's a certain style of home where it was pretty much all they were building for about a decade, from the late 60s to the late 70s, and we call it the BC box. This home comes in many different variations, but is generally pretty much the same. Some of them will have 3 bedrooms upstairs and only one bathroom in the hallway. Some of them will have 3 bedrooms and they'll somehow squeeze an extra powder room into the master bedroom for 2 total bathrooms, being it 3 bedrooms up, 2 bathrooms up. Some of them have carports and others will have a single car garage, and they're always very customizable. Like some of them will, turn the carport they'll enclose it and they'll just add it onto the square footage of the suite downstairs. Same with the garage, they'll just enclose it and add it onto the suite. Some people will even turn the garage into a studio suite to have a total of 3 suites in these homes I've even seen before. And they all have this wall upstairs in the kitchen that you can actually knock down to completely open up the living space as well. Some of them are 1,800 square feet and others are 2,200 or 2,300 square feet. But generally speaking, they're all the exact same house, just a little bit different. And I love this house for investing for a multitude of reasons, but number one being that these homes are typically situated on at least a 7,000 square foot lot. Can be much larger than that, but the minimum is typically around 7,000, possibly 68 depending on the municipality, but the most common I see is about 7,200 square feet. And a lot that size gives you a lot more options than a house that's on a 5,000 square foot lot would give you. You might be able to build a duplex or a quadplex, or possibly subdivide that lot into 2 more lots. Now, if you don't have the frontage, which is the width across the lot, so the actual width of the lot is frontage. This is very important in development. If you do not have the frontage that's required, like for example, I believe it's 68 feet in Abbotsford to subdivide. It's different in every municipality. If you don't have the frontage, well, a lot of the times you can actually partner up with your neighbor, and then together you guys might have the frontage to subdivide into 3 lots or build 2 duplexes or whatever. But the moral of the story here is having a lot that size gives you a lot more options when it comes to exit strategy later on in the future. Possibly you could even build a house, just a bigger house, just a newer, bigger house, possibly a 3-story home. But there's pretty much always something else, a higher and better usage for that lot than what's sitting on it currently. And that gives you the ability to hold that property for 5 to 6 years, collect the rent, and then force some appreciation by upgrading the structure on that lot into something that's a higher and better usage. See, because after the 80s, like in the 90s, homes pretty much just started getting built on 5,000 to 6,500 square foot lots. And these are good homes too, but all you can pretty much do with these is buy and hold them. There isn't really much future development potential within the lot itself because it's too small. Depending on the location, of course. You might be somewhere where you could put 3 or 4 of them together and do apartments or something like that. But generally speaking, it's too small to really have any future development potential, at least not within the next 15 years kind of thing. Secondly, these homes, the BC box, have 2 suites in them, up and down, and like I said, sometimes you can even add a 3rd if you really wanted to. And these are the cheapest double income properties that you can buy. So that being the case, your cash flow numbers are going to look best in this situation than probably any other detached home. And if they don't have 2 suites, because they're basically all the same, you can almost always add another suite downstairs with some configuration. So good development potential, good cash flow. Number 3, we all know it's the land that actually appreciates while the structure itself actually depreciates. And that's why strata properties are not a good, older strata properties are not typically a good investment, because the structure itself is almost depreciating just as fast as the land is appreciating, meaning that your gains are going to be minimal over a long hold period because the structure is just depreciating pretty quick once it gets to that certain point where the strata has fallen apart. They have a bunch of repairs coming up. They're constantly levying the people who live there, so on and so forth. With a 1970s home, it's already seen the bulk of the depreciation. And because it's sitting on so much land, really there's only going to be appreciation from that point forward. Now, not exactly, but I'm just really trying to simplify this so you guys can understand this, right? The house, like if you were to buy a 1990s home, the house itself might be worth 250 grand and the land might be worth 800,000, right? Well, if you buy a 1970s home, the land, let's just say, is worth $1 million, but the house is worth 50 grand. They both cost $1,050,000, but you own more of the appreciating part of that asset, and the structure itself has pretty much depreciated all of the depreciation it's ever going to depreciate. And to add to all of this, land is king. Obviously, your first investment, get into whatever you can. Buying something is better than owning nothing. Second property, same idea, but once you've built up some net worth and you can buy land, I would transition my assets into land for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. Basically, in life, investing, whatever it may be, the more options you have, the happier you're going to be, because money doesn't bring happiness, but money brings options, and options brings freedom, and freedom brings happiness, right? So if you take that kind of philosophy into investing, a 1970s BC box split level home located on a 7,000 square foot lot is going to provide you probably the best cash flow you're going to get in a detached home and have the most options when it comes to an exit strategy. So that's it for today, guys. Subscribe to the channel, like this video. I'm that Agent Kelly, and I'm making moves to move you. Peace.